when developing your framework, it's easy to fall into the trap of trying to work on something that is so perfect that you think about it as a finished product and then keeping it intact for a long time. In my experience, working on a framework is more of a practice. I've developed my own framework, the strategic narrative canvas. I will just show it to you very briefly here, so we can. There it is. That you can see. You can find this on my website metahelm.com. This is the main framework for how I orchestrate all my knowledge, how I organize my knowledge, how I help you if you're one of my clients. And if you've considered building one for yourself, my message today is don't think this is just a project that you will complete by a certain date. It's a long-term and long practice, right? The framework I just showed you is probably on version, I think, 15, right? And I started many, many years ago. Think about it as a piece of software that you release once in a while. You release a new version. It's up to you to decide on the cadence based on your time, your resources, that you evolve over time. And you will probably notice that at some point, the refresh cycle gets longer and longer because it's more stable. There is not such a greater need to completely change it. But in the beginning, you might feel a little bit overwhelmed because do you want to structure around 3 ideas or 4 ideas, or is it just one thing? Should it look like a star? Should it look like a timeline, like a bridge, like a set of steps? All of those questions are critical questions that you need to give time to explore. But my recommendation is to get to a prototype as soon as possible. In fact, the strategic narrative canvas that I just shared with you initially used to be just drawn. I used to draw it just on the back of a napkin or on a whiteboard in a boardroom with my clients. That's how I started to prototype it. And over time, I gave it a shape. I gave it, additional details, layers, added metaphors, and so on with the help of my clients, which, by the way, is another benefit of thinking about it in terms of a practice versus a project. When you practice something, you have the possibility to practice it with others. So invite people in collaborating, in helping you develop that framework with you so that you get immediate, fast feedback, and so that that system of thinking, that system of connections is not just meaningful to you, but also meaningful for those who will give you money to use it and get your advice, your clients, right? So I hope this is helpful, and I hope this is a refreshing view on a topic that is often considered as a little esoteric or, framed as this big costly project that you have to go through once a decade. I disagree with this. It's something that anyone can afford doing as long as you consider it as a, as a practice that you engage in on a frequent and regular basis. So good luck developing your framework. And if you have one to share, if you'd like my encouragements or my feedbacks or additional tips on this topic, please comment on this video and I'll be happy to share that with you. Thanks so much.